My players shouting at him about getting stuff wrong that he got right probably got us into this problem in the first place with the conduct between the referee and the players. So let's address all of that. But no, that's not what happened.
Fucking hell. I feel like I just had to tell it off.
I just think Daryl Powell has to come out and say the truth, that he was wrong about those things.
Yeah.
Address the points that he wants to talk about that are reasonable about whether the referee conduct between him and the players, respect going both ways, all of that, fair, fine. Talk about that with the RFL. I'm okay with that being a problem that needs to be addressed. Completely agree with him on that point.
Yeah.
But the stuff he said about the laws being interpreted wrong, the stuff he said about referee getting crucial decisions wrong, was not correct, was not fair, and was not appropriate, and he should come out and say that, rather than wash it away like he has in this, we're a family and we stick together when things go against us. And nothing against the people who get behind their coach in this way, because everyone always feels like poorly, badly done to fans. That's kind of how we want our mentality to be as fan groups and stuff. But he leads that fan group in certain ways, and he could have stopped some of that.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that the money's gone, or some money has gone to a very good cause.
Exactly. So something good's going to come out of it then.
The other thing that this made me think of...
Hashtag Mark Rants.
It just really winds me up when he was wrong, yet he still acts like he wasn't. That's what winds me up, Tom. Because when we're wrong and people point it out to us, we say, yeah, we're wrong.
Yeah.
Because because we understand that we can be wrong sometimes. Anyway.
Yes.
Just like I'll get pointed out when someone does dig out an article where he did admit he was wrong, then I'll be like, yes, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I look forward to you being the person who does that.
The other thing that this made me think of is a new feature for us, Tom, that we could introduce, which could be operational rule of the week. And I could just randomly hit up a page in the operation manual or the rules of the game manual or something like that, and we'll just throw it in there, talk about it, and raise general awareness of these.
Let's make everybody overall awareness of the rules of the sport.
Yeah.
I like it. I like your style, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of features, I've got a cracker for Tom's poll this week as well. So keep your eyes peeled.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily about a strict talking point, but something that will be a flat A or B answer, and we can have a bit of a discussion. But we'll talk about next week's show.
It's not EU referendum.
It's nothing. No, it's nothing to do with the EU referendum at all. No. Okay. Hull FC have signed Huddersfield Giants utility Jake Connor on a 2-year deal. The 21-year-old back has agreed to deal with the Black and Whites, becoming Lee Radford's second acquisition for 2017 and beyond. Following his senior debut for Huddersfield in 2013 at just 18 years of age, Connor has gone on to make over 40 appearances for the Giants. Good piece of business for Hull. I like this.
Yeah, he's a very, very strong utility player, good age, development left in him, lots of skill. We saw that at Magic Weekend.
Yes.
There's some question marks over how it's going to work in terms of how his deal has been done, because if he signs for Hull FC before his 22nd birthday, then some sort of fee will have to be negotiated for the development that Huddersfield Giants put into the player.
Yeah.
If he enters into some sort of agreement that defers actually signing for them until after his 22nd birthday, they wouldn't be obliged under the rules to pay a fee, and I think that would cause some consternation and some sort of tribunal situation might have to occur off the back of that, where Hull should just pay up some money, I suppose. I
tend not to feel too sorry for Huddersfield Giants being the victims of losing a player and not necessarily getting the money that they were properly owed or deserved for him, Craig Kopchak. So, fair play to Hull FC. Long-serving Sheffield prop Mitch Stringer has unexpectedly left the club with immediate effect. The Eagles announced the departure with a tweet yesterday, declining to give a reason.
Oh, we haven't updated this at all. It wasn't yesterday. It was like last week.
The front row spent most of his career with Sheffield after making his debut in 2003 and played more than 300 times for the Eagles. Until recently, the 32-year-old was the captain of the club. Stringer has since signed for Dewsbury until the end of the season. It's just the wheels keep falling off.
It's just more question marks.
More stuff.
Yeah.
If you're one of your longest serving, I would go so far as to, is he their record appearance maker? He's got to be up there.
Surely that's Tubby himself.
Oh, good point. Yeah, but it'll be close. He's 300 games for one club is impressive, isn't it? And this man is part of the current DNA of Sheffield. Already was. This man will have had a lot of loyalty to Sheffield Eagles to have made this decision. Tells me that there's lots of things going on there that people are unhappy with.
Yeah, it does seem a bit strange, doesn't it?
But good luck for him at Dewsbury. Featherstone Rovers have signed Hunslet Hawks winger James Duckworth on loan until the end of the season. Duckworth is 22 and began his professional career in the Super League at Leeds Rhinos, and also had a spell at the London Broncos before his move to Hunslet. He also represented England Academy. Good luck to James Duckworth.
It's weird that, isn't it, going up a division on loan?
It doesn't often happen, does it?
Obviously, it's all through that weird Leeds back network.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all training. Yeah, where have they all been training together? That's my question.
Well, because Leeds don't have a training ground, they could be training anywhere, couldn't they? So they basically could be training as many players as they want, because they could be doing it at that club's training ground and say, oh, well, we're just doing sessions next to them because we haven't got our own training ground.
Do you think they just split the difference and do it on, like, services over the top of the M62? Right, new national coach Wayne Bennett spent some time in England this week in a low-key visit in which he met with a selection of invited players and held a number of meetings with key backroom staff. Bennett, who... Forgive me, I am going mental. Bennett, who met with 31 players on Monday the 13th of June in Leeds, also visited different facilities that England will use throughout their 2016 Four Nation campaign, which begins in October. The England coach also took in 3 Super League games throughout his stay: Huddersfield Giants versus Wakefield, Widnes versus Wigan, and Warrington versus the Catalan Dragons. So the full list of players invited to meet with Bennett and staff is Mark Snade and Scott Taylor from Hull FC, Dan Sargentson, Dom Alfredi, George Williams, Joel Tompkins, John Bateman, Liam Farrell, Matty Smith, Sam Tompkins and Sean O'Loughlin from the Wigan Warriors, Ben Curry, Ben Westwood, Chris Hill, Darryl Clark, Stephen Ratchett from the Warrington Wolves, Alex Walmsley, James Roby, Joe Greenwood, Kyle Amor from St Helens, as well as Mark Percival, Luke Gell from Castleford, Kevin Brown from Widnes, Jermaine McGilvray and Leroy Cudjoe from the Huddersfield Giants, as well as Brett Ferris, Callum Watkins, Ryan Hall, Stevie Ward, Tom Briscoe and Zach Hardacre of the Leeds Rhinos. Too much whinging on Twitter about the fact that 6 Leeds Rhinos players were invited along, blah blah blah, he's going to be picking based on reputation instead of form. Do you think that's the case? Do you think that's what it indicates, or do you think he's meeting with the majority of, a current England squad based in the UK to see how, just to talk to them and get some understanding of them as individuals before he makes bigger decisions?
Yeah, I think it's obviously looking at a bigger picture, Team England kind of ethos that was created under the Steve McNamara era as towards the back end of that, weren't they? He very much had his collection of players in Australia that he would get together with regularly, and his collection of players in this country that would get together for camps or video meetings or lots of different stuff, and a lot of the names are similar. The fact that there's so many players on this list that are injured or are showing no form at all because of injuries impacting the seasons in a lot of the cases, people like Stevie Ward, Sean O'Loughlin, Liam Farrell, probably some of the most notable ones in that regard, Briscoe Hall as well. You've got to take a balanced approach to this sort of stuff. He doesn't know that Jamie Shaw or Tom Johnston or Mike McMeekan are still going to be banging form and able to compete against the very best in the world in October when they are in that position in June. Doesn't necessarily mean he shouldn't have maybe got them a little bit involved, because especially when you're looking at younger players, to at least understand the setup, understand what's actually needed to be as good as Ryan Hall has been for a long time now, as good as people like, I don't know, like a Sam Tompkins or
James Roby. Yeah,
exactly, have been for all these years. And Sean O'Loughlin, the captain, so he'd be included, you would expect. I'm surprised Kevin Brown's in there, because he's chosen the time when Bennett was in the country to have probably 2 of his worst games that I've seen of him in recent years.
Yes.
Surprised Ben West was in there, because I'm just not seeing what he's adding.
No, well, he's only recently back from injury himself, isn't he?
But also, I don't see that he's played particularly impressively in a generally impressive side. I'd argue that Ben Julian's done a more impressive job when he's been in the side.
Do you think this is his starting point?
Yes.
And then the squad will fairly rapidly evolve and develop based on what he sees and watches on a week in, week out basis, and actually touching base with these guys is kind of a mark of respect in terms of having a relationship with them, and then going, right, Because this is the mainstay of the last England squad, isn't it?
I think there's a transition through. There is a transition through, and some of these players will find their way out. Well, let's remember, this is 31 players. Then he's got another 6 to 9 sort of legitimate contenders for positions playing in the NRL that will be in the squad.
Yeah.
A squad of about, 23 or 24, is it normally?
Yeah.
So
there's some cuts coming, isn't there?
So a lot of these players aren't getting it. There are some surprising names. There are some surprising omissions. We've sort of covered off the most surprising omissions, I suppose. Maybe adding to that list Watson, Broughton.
Yeah.
There's 2 other people who genuinely could have been in with a chance. I think the bus has maybe missed the bus a bit for someone like Broughton, possibly.
Do you mean Broughton or do you mean Houghton?
No, I mean Broughton.
Right, I'd include Houghton in that list as well.
I'd put Houghton in the same.
Maybe he's going to benefit.
But I don't see that his form is any better than Hodgson. Well, maybe a little bit better than Roby. But Roby's Roby, and Darryl Clark's been playing as good, if not better, and does a very much different job that England might be able to use than what Houghton does, which is solid effort, steady away. But no one's talking about Sam Powell being in the squad, and he's making nearly as many tackles as
I've always just assumed Sam Powell was Welsh and that he would play for Wales. Don't ask me why. I've just always been the assumption.
And I'm not saying, by any means, I'm not saying he's as good a hooker as Danny Houghton is. I'm just saying that there's also awesome hookers that will be in the squad.
Yeah.
And he has to balance all of those factors together. And probably the same situation for Jamie Shaw, who is very unlucky with the form he's been showing.
Yeah.
But Sam Tompkins and Zach Hardacre are world-class talents who've done it on the international stage, they've done it in finals, and they've done it consistently over more than one season.
Yeah.
To say, drop them and play Jamie Shaw, who's never... whose only appearance in a major game saw him not win in a Challenge Cup final and not really explode onto the scene in that game... And I'm not knocking Jamie Shaw because I've loved seeing him what he's done this year, and I definitely think he should be in and around the squad, and he should have been part of this meeting.
Yeah.
But only in the extent of, this is what you have to be, kid.
Yeah.
This is what you need to emulate.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're doing cracking. Do it for another year.
Yeah.
Do it in a major game,
Yeah.
or do it when these guys. When these guys are injured, maybe I'll get you doing it.
And to be fair, Tompkins is coming back into form, and I think, to be completely honest, he will be the one that ends up holding that number 1 jersey, despite my preference for Zach Hardacre over the years.
Well, the last time Sam Tompkins played in the England side, he didn't drop a ball, he didn't miss a tackle. He was fantastic.
Absolutely, and I'm more than happy for him to take that jersey. What I'm leading up to is that actually Zach Hardacre probably is not on form. So maybe as things progress and develop, you'll find that Sam Tompkins is the player on form who comes in as first choice fullback. Jamie Shaw gets a look in there.
Well, you've got Rashford in the squad.
Rashford offers you tremendous utility.
Yeah.
I don't see him being a starter, but he does offer utility value to you. So he's going to have because of how good he is in so many positions. He's going to be in with more of a shout than he might ordinarily have been.
A couple of in the people that were lucky, I didn't mention Joel Tompkins. I think he's very lucky to be in the squad, but obviously that seniority, similar to Ben Westwood, that experience he brings to the party. A couple of names that's surprising, given that other names aren't in there, are Joe Greenwood and Stevie Ward. Now they've been around winning teams in their young careers, so that gives them maybe that step up on someone like a Mike McMeekan. But I do think it's unfortunate for Mike McMeekan that these two seem to be ahead of him in that pecking order. Even though he should still, they should both still be all behind Whitehead, Farrell, Bateman in that pecking order. Curry as well should be ahead of them as well.
I don't think there's any reason to necessarily feel too negative about this. A lot of what we're talking about in a roundabout way is that we've got a bit of an embarrassment of riches in certain positions, particularly in hooker, particularly in the front row, particularly at second row as well. We've got a lot of strength in our pack. Now, the conversation to be had is around half-backs and who's going to be distributing the ball and guiding that pack around. But you look at, there's a few layers to our front row, there's a few layers to our second row, given some of the young talent that we've got. And we're talking about, Bateman's, Farrell's, Ben Curry's. Stevie Ward, towards the back end of last season, was playing like an absolute worldie. And that's before we even get into the conversation about some of the NRL guys that have been coming in.
We're good on the wings as well,
we are,
to be honest. It's just who gets the ball from... from the middle to through the halves and the centres is the question marks, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Trent Hodkinson. The more time goes by, the more I think about it, the more I suspect that Bennett might go for that.
No.
Either that or he's busy checking Delirious Boyd's family tree to see if he's got any English in him.
Well, the latest one that was thrown our way was the Morris twins, wasn't it?
Was it really?
Yeah,
Oh
I think it was. I think Paul Mack sent it us this morning, later than the rundown was put together. But yeah,
I'll take a Morris twin.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
Have them being like the Jackers and have them playing against each other, one for Australia, and
Yeah.
one for England.
that would be good. Okay, stay in Australia then.